Hello everyone. I wanted to do a video response to another video that actually has been making the rounds in the MGTOW sphere of YouTube for a while now. It was originally entitled "Dear Men, Please Watch This" by a YouTuber who goes by the handle of Alexandra Blue. And I'd like to first preface by saying that I understand that Miss Blue has changed her opinions in regards to MGTOW and feminism since she originally made this video, mostly as an outgrowth of response videos that have been made about her original video. However, I still wanted to go ahead and add in my 2 cents. Probably not actually going to be saying anything that anyone else hasn't said already, but I don't know. I just thought, go ahead and throw it out there. I'd also like to mention that I'm actually not a MGTOW. I am, in fact, in a relationship with a wonderful woman, but I don't hate MGTOW, and I don't detract from them, and I actually have a bit of sympathy for them. I mean, the dating game is rough, and with divorce rates being what they are and ridiculous, absolutely fucking ridiculous. The mere concept of a lifelong alimony, fuck that. Jesus. Jesus, who wants to take the risk? So, I mean, if you want to check out completely out of society, you just want to give up on dating and marriage and just you don't think it's worth it, hey man, that's your call. I'm not gonna fault you for it. And I don't really understand people who would hold that against you. I am honestly confused by this woman's outrage at your choice to go your own way. Guess I kind of understand it. The criticisms were made against her favorite ideology, but we'll get into that. So, the first thing that's comes right out in the video is the sheer level of quality she has here. She absolutely has a higher quality of video than your average YouTuber. In fact, I'm actually reminded of you guys are aware of who John and Hank Green are, right? The vlog brothers. They go to do a like hipsterific crash course video that boils incredibly complex subjects down into something that Reader's Digest would call shallow. That it reminds me of that. She has a very high quality of video in this, and it makes me wonder how she got that. There, I mean, unless she is just a member of some elite circle of video producers, and she just has friends. She has like a video editor friend, and she has a camera guy friend. She has a sound tech friend. She has like a lighting tech friend. There's no way she could do this on her own. There's no way. She would have to have financial backing. She would have to have financial backing. And I can't help but wonder what that might be. I mean, the easiest answer would be um, daddy's money, which makes me wonder why. I don't know. That's not important. But the more cynical answer, and the one that I'm a cynic and makes me want to lean towards, is corporate backing. I can't help but think that there's some kind of corporate or ideological think tank that she got money from to do this video, and I hope that's not the case. I don't want my cynical worldview to be true, but there it is, and that's out there. Enough about the video quality. Let's go into this.
But sometimes think about, why is a woman acting the way she is? It's not like we wake up in the morning thinking, ooh, I'm gonna be a bitch today.
And right out of the gate, we peg the entitlement meter. All right, look, honey, I know you're new to adult society and all that, but no one cares why you're acting like a bitch. Your friends might, your family might. Outside of that, random strangers on the street, no one's gonna give a shit why you're acting like a bitch. No one cares why. No one cares that you woke up and your toilet was backed up. No one cares that the washing machine exploded on you. No one cares that the dog took a shit on the hallway floor. No one cares. All they care about is that you are in fact acting like a bitch. And you need to be careful about that because actions become character. You got that? Actions become character. So no matter how bad your day is being, you need to make a concerted effort to not spread that around. Because otherwise, you're going to be a bitch. And from a more practical standpoint, no one's going to want to be around you.
Hey. Hey guys, and I literally mean guys.
Yeah, we'd kind of figured that out for ourselves, considering the fact that your video is entitled, Dear Men, Please Watch This.
Men of this world, this video is geared towards you.
Well, it's not necessarily geared towards me specifically. Otherwise, you'd be more cartoony and less clothed.
I have one wish, just one.
Oh, really? Just one wish? Man, your life must be amazing.
I really wish that you could spend one day in the life of a woman. And no, I don't mean giving birth or being on your period or PMSing, nothing physical like that. I just wish that you could spend one day in the life of a woman so you would understand what it's like to be a woman and all the shit that we go through. Because we go through a lot of shit, and I really don't think that you guys understand sometimes the extent of the shit that we go through. Seriously.
I promise you, you don't have to do that. I was a liberal arts major in college, and I have thus become well-versed in the female experience. I assure you, I am well aware of all of the many trials that women face. Promise you.
What really pisses me off is men who say they hate feminists. What do you mean you hate feminists?
Well, if you're really concerned about that, I could go into a long rant about all of the experiences and revelations I had regarding feminism in general and like the more radical elements that have cropped up in recent decades. And, outline all the reasons why I have decided to distance myself from that particular political ideology. But at the end of the day, I refuse to support a movement that thinks I am a pig and a rapist simply for the genitals I was born with. However, if you do really want to hear some anti-feminism stuff, you could talk to my fiancée. She has a list, and it's quite long, and she's very vocal about it. I mean, do you want her number? Because I can arrange that. I hope you have some earbuds handy.
Feminism, at its core, means equal rights for men and women. Simple as that.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that. Just like Christianity is all about loving your neighbor, and Islam is about peace. Actions speak louder than words, and you can't default to the dictionary definition. You can't. Sorry.
So hopefully you are a feminist. I'm a feminist. You should be a feminist too. If you think that men and women should have equal rights, bam, that's all there is.
Well, considering a full fifth of the American population disagrees with you on that point, gonna have a hard time selling that. And I'm sorry, but one movement does not have a monopoly on equality. It doesn't. Stop trying to make it have one. Let other people speak. All right? You got that? That really is what it comes down to. That is what I think so many people's problem with feminism is that it inflicts itself in these other movements. It inflicts itself in racial equality. It inflicts itself in gay rights. It inflicts itself in trans rights. It inflicts itself in all of these groups, and then it tries to dominate them. It tries to dominate everything. Reach out its tentacles and get in there and grab these movements and these ideologies and bring them all under the feminist banner so it can lord over them. That, I think, really is the main problem most people have with feminism. And if you want a great example of this, take a look at Atheism Plus. This was a perfect example of feminism injecting itself into something that had nothing to do with feminism and then dominating it. Ask yourself this: what is atheism at its basis? Atheism at its basis is a lack of a belief in God. Nothing about that has to do with feminism. Absolutely nothing at all. And feminists injected themselves into the atheism community and took it over. And they took it over with a culture of fear. That that is what people don't like about feminism. They took it over with fear. They injected themselves into something that had nothing to do with them, into a community that was not about feminism, was not built by feminists, and made it all about themselves, and dominated and removed any conflicting voices.
To it, and I'm sorry if these extremist feminist groups are wrecking it for the rest of us women.
Minor correction there for you, Alexandra. You don't mean to say women. What you mean to say is feminists. Feminist is not synonymous with woman. Stop acting like it is.
But they just scream louder than the most of us, so it's really not my fault. But I really do think that all of us should be feminists. All right, I'm not going to talk about feminism again because I know the dreaded F word.
As has been pointed out by others, it's not actually the word feminism that gets anyone's hackles up. It's a monogender specific ideology that is driven by hate and authoritarianism. It's your dogmatic adherence to the idea that women must be infantilized and given every possible advantage because in your paradoxical mind, women are oppressed. This is, frankly, a very scary idea to me because throughout all of world history, nothing justifies violence in the human mind more than a victim complex. You see it in the Crusades. You see it in the Roman persecution of the Christians. You see it in Nazi Germany. You see it in the People's Revolution in Russia. You see it in the People's Revolution in China. This is a continual fact of human existence. When you sink into this victim narrative, when you allow yourself to be overtaken by fear, by this belief that absolutely everyone is out to get you, then you become open to your darkest nature. And then it becomes easy. It becomes easy to work terrible actions against your fellow human beings. And that personally is my problem with feminism. But if you would like to go for the rest of this video without talking any more about feminism, that's fine. I won't bring it up. I will, however, hold you to that promise. And I'm going to call you out if you start talking about feminism again. And I'm going to do this because, and I'm going to be perfectly frank here, I don't think you can go a full video without talking about feminism. I don't think you can. I think it has invaded your brain and it's all you can talk about anymore.
Dreaded by all men.
Oh yeah, dreaded by all men. Except for male feminists, which you and people like you always seem to forget exist. You always seem to forget that there's such a thing as male feminists and there's such a thing as female anti-feminists. It's like you're trying to drive an artificial wedge between the genders. You're either women and you're with us or you're men and you're against us. Well, what the hell? It's so artificial and it's so pointless. And no wonder no one likes you. You ever think about that? You ever think that maybe when you discount all of the men who are trying to help you and you discount all of the women who stand opposed to you, you create in your own mind this cartoonish vision, this oversimplified, to use a term that comic book fans might be familiar with, you create a four-color vision of your opposition, and in doing so, you wind up creating a four-color vision of yourself. You become a joke. You become a screaming, hate-filled joke. And that, honestly, that's why 4/5 of the American population doesn't take you seriously. It's because you're a joke.
So I'm not going to talk about it, but the reason I'm going to say this is because it really does piss me off when men say that they don't like feminists.
And there it is. Couldn't even go a full minute without talking about feminism. Yeah, I'm disappointed, but I wish I could say I was surprised. And I should I even point out that you conflated men as all being anti-feminists? Is that even worth pointing out? Yeah, I'll go ahead. Yeah, it's not only men who stand against feminism. You understand that, right?
What really pisses me off is men that call women bitches and blame the feminist movement for the reason that they are single.
I don't know if I necessarily blame the feminism movement for that. I would, however, blame things like that bumper sticker that says, "You say bitch like it's a bad thing."
And I have to read you this article that I found on my laptop.
Are you for real right now? Wait, was that supposed to be a product placement? No, be honest, be honest. I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be mad. Was that a product placement?
And I'm going to read you a part. It's called The Sexodus Part 1, The Men Giving Up on Women and Checking Out of Society, and it's clearly by an anti-feminist.
Are you aware you have this habit of saying the word anti-feminist the way a Christian fundy says the word evolutionist? You say it like it's a curse.
Marriage is dead. Divorce means you're screwed for life. Women have given up on monogamy. Not true.
Sorry, have to butt in for a sec, but yes, they have. Um, in America, 50% of all marriages will end in divorce. 50%. Toss a coin. And I don't have the facts and figures directly in front of me, but it's my understanding that 80% of those marriages will be initiated by the woman. 80% of those divorces, I mean to say, but you know what I mean. Throw into that things like lifetime alimony and child support that can actually be a required monthly amount of more than what the man takes home from his job after taxes. So if you make, let's say, 3,000 a month at a job, really nice job, um, you could actually wind up as a man owing 3,500 in child support. That's no joke. It's no joke. I mean, 45% failure rate for marriages. I'm sorry, 45% that your wife is going to walk out on you. And since marriage is defined as a state of monogamy and is defined by the federal government and by the state government as the strongest form of monogamy, yes, categorically, statistically, women are checking out of monogamy. So, what this means is that why bother? That's what's going through these men's mind. Why bother? I get married, there's a 50% chance the marriage will end, and after that, there's an 80% chance my wife is going to be the one to leave, and I'm going to wind up still paying for her lifestyle. I'm going to spend the rest of my life paying for the lifestyle of a woman I don't see anymore. Does that sound like a fair shake? Be honest, does that sound like a fair shake? Was that something you would do?
Which makes them uninteresting to us for any serious relationship or raising a family. And it continues on later on to say, this is my favorite part, by the way. Social commentators, journalists, academics, scientists, and young men themselves have all spotted the trend. Among men of about 15 to 30 years old, ever-increasing numbers are checking out of society altogether, giving up on women, sex and relationships, and retreating into pornography, sexual fetishes, chemical addictions, video games, and in some cases, boorish lad culture, all of which insulate them from a hostile, debilitating social environment created, some argue, by the modern feminist movement. I'm sorry, but that is wrong on so many levels. You're blaming feminists for the fact that you're hibernating.
You know what? I'm sorry too. I'm sorry that despite the sarcastic and quite frankly bratty and immature way you read that entire paragraph, that the only thing in that article that is even debatable at this point is whether or not the feminism movement is responsible. Everything else mentioned, true. Only thing that's debatable, whether feminism is responsible. Hibernating. Look, honey, none of these guys are hibernating. They're living it up, honestly. When I go into the MGTOW forums, all I hear are articles and pieces about how these guys are just living it up. They're going crazy. Like they're going skydiving because they fucking can, because they have the money and they have no other responsibilities. Their only responsibility is to themselves. They go to like the fucking amusement park in the middle of the day because their job allows them to do that. No one's hibernating. I don't know where you got that idea from. They're being single men. It's just they now have they have financial security, they have good jobs. And they're doing what single men have done throughout all of history, and that is spend their money on themselves.
I really can't stand men blaming the feminist movement.
And there you go again, breaking your promise and white knighting for your chosen ideology.
And I will explain to you why. I will explain to you what it's like to be a woman, and hopefully someone will understand.
Oh boy. Okay, right, yeah, attractive young woman, healthy, wealthy, and educated, living in the first world, is now going to tell me how absolutely awful her life is. Okay, right. You remember when I mentioned earlier how I was a liberal arts major and all that, and how I'm intimately familiar with the female experience? Okay, let me just put this out here. I had to read a 30-page short story about a woman whose self-empowerment was to strip down naked in the middle of the street and run through town. That was her self-empowerment story. And the story itself ended with her sitting on her balcony with her legs up in the air, spread, of course, with a hand mirror, examining her own vagina. This is the kind of empowerment narrative that feminists in the first world seem to celebrate. And let's be honest, it's because you don't have any real problems. You don't. You don't have any problems. You have no problems. So your idea of overcoming adversity is to stare your own junk in the face. But go on, tell me how bad you have it.
I open my fridge, decide there's no food.
The key word in that previous sentence being decide. You decided there was no food in the fridge. This means there actually was food in the fridge, but you just didn't feel like eating any of it. That's what it was. Kind of makes me wonder if you've ever actually had to live 2 days till payday on an empty fridge. Because I've done that. Have you done that? Have you ever had an empty fridge? You know what? Don't answer that. You're just going to piss me off.
So I put on some clothes, don't even bother with the makeup.
So brave. You're a modern day hero. That's what you are. You're a modern day Boudica. You're Joan of Arc. You went out in public with no makeup. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you remember what I said about there being no self-empowerment narrative? Something like that. Did I say that? I should have said that.
And head to the grocery store. I do not ask to be hit on. I do not ask to be verbally harassed by creepy old men.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely awful. Go on.
And I know you guys think that women overuse the term creepy, but if there's an old man that's 50 years older than you licking his lips at you, that is creepy.
Oh, you poor dear. Oh, you poor dear. Oh, my God. Oh, he licked his lips at you. Oh, clearly, it's the worst thing since the rape of Non-King. Oh, my God. You know, I'm going to do you a massive kindness here, and I'm going to ignore the elephant's hairy ass load of possible reasons he could have licked his lips that didn't involve him being lustful. And I'm going to assume that, yes, he was actually imagining you naked when he licked his lips, and that was why he felt the need to lick his lips. Fuck you. Fuck you. Is that really the worst thing that happens to you on a daily basis? What the hell? Oh my God, you could not think of a single thing that happens to you on a daily basis that was worse than that. Jesus! Oh my God, you're so privileged. You have no concept of how privileged you are. Why would I even... Why am I making this video anymore? You're such a privileged piece of shit that you seem to think that a completely random stranger looking at you with lust in his eyes is such a terrible thing. Holy shit, woman. He's not going to drag you into the alleyway and rape you. He's 70 fucking years old. He'll be lucky if he can get it up. It probably takes half a hospital load of Viagra just for him to get a boner. Shit, woman.
I don't know this man. He's a stranger to me. And I know what you must be thinking. Okay, well, you're just talking about old men.
Yeah, you might want to get your telepathy recalibrated there, sweetheart, because that's not what I was thinking at all. I was thinking something more along the lines of, clearly, Western feminism has jumped the shark when a guy licking his lips at you is the worst thing you can think of.
But guess what? There's random creeps, and I live in a big city, so this is even more likely, that I encounter on a daily basis. And you think it's old men, but it's not just old men.
Oh, so it's not just old guys licking their lips at you. You have a problem with young guys licking their lips at you too? God, gee, have you had a problem with women licking their lips at you? 'Cause, yeah, sounds a bit like aggressive lesbianism there. You should look out for that. Christ, Jesus. Have you thought about where any of this like mentality of yours is going? This idea that people licking their lips at you is some kind of sexual threat? Holy shit. Oh my god. What kind of world do you live in? Is your entire inner monologue just rape strung together multiple times?
Let's talk about the pickup artist movement.
I'm not really sure you can classify pickup artistry as a movement. At least I wouldn't. Mostly because you can't really form a political ideology around getting as much pussy as possible. But hey, you want to call it a movement, go right ahead.
Started by a whole bunch of like 20-something-year-olds all around the world, and it's very much prevalent in Toronto because I have actually encountered, and my friends have encountered, these pickup artists. And it's kind of scary because they film YouTube videos about picking up girls and trying to have sex with as many of them as possible, and they put these videos on YouTube.
Oh, how dare they! How dare they! How dare these single young men want to get laid? How dare they seek consensual sexual relationships with young women? Oh my god, yeah, no, don't worry, I've called the FBI and we're gonna put a stop to this. Oh my god, oh man, yeah, how dare they make YouTube videos, non-graphic YouTube videos, mind you, teaching fellow men how to get more tail. Oh man, yeah, oh no, I know, it's against the Geneva Convention, how could they possibly do that? Oh my god, you fucking bitch, Jesus. You have the first world problems of first world problems. Okay, look, I know I'm getting pretty worked up here, and I'm really trying not to, but holy shit, the entitlement coming from this woman. Holy fuck. Oh, okay. So, also, just want to ask, do you really not like pickup artists because you feel they're skeezy and manipulative? Or do you not like pickup artists because deep down you know their tricks work? Okay, well, that was perhaps a bit flippant, but no, I really want to know. I want to know what your problem with pickup artists is. I want to know. I mean, because they're not bothering you. They come up to you in the club and they ask, hey, baby, you want a drink? And you tell them, go fuck yourself with a rusty razor. And that should really be the extent of your interaction with these guys. That's it. Social interaction done. Are you offended on behalf of the women they're having sex with? That's really all I can think of. That is the only serious reason I can think of. And let me tell you, you are not the moral guardian of these women. You don't get to decide what their standards are. You don't. You were not elected matriarch by the Grand High Vulvate, the Council of All Women. You do not get to speak for the sexual desires and sexual decisions of all women everywhere. That is not a right you were given. Okay? You understand that? Women have different tastes than men. Okay? You've been familiarized with this concept? Some women date douchebags. Some women go for bad boys. I have had women state to my face that they will only date assholes. They have stated it in those words. I'm not exaggerating. Those are their words, not mine. They choose these men. No one is going up to these women and saying, "Sleep with me or I'll kill your parents." That's not something these pickup artists are saying. They're saying, "Hey baby, can I buy you a drink? Oh, by the way, your hair looks amazing tonight." Okay, they've got more game than I do, but whatever. They're just selling a product. Their product happens to be their penis. But they're just selling a product and they're not forcing anyone's decisions. But you are. You're trying to force the decision of these women to not sleep with these men. You don't get that right. You don't get to decide that.
Guys, when you blame this whole feminism movement for the reason that girls are giving you the cold shoulder.
I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about MGTOW. Are we still talking about MGTOW? Because MGTOW don't care that women are giving them the cold shoulder. MGTOW are giving women the cold shoulder. That's basically what it comes down. They don't care. I'm starting to wonder if you even know what you're talking about. Did you even do any research on MGTOW, or did you just read one article? Do you just think you're the grand expert on everything just because you read one little thing about it? You read one misinformed article. Holy shit, woman. I don't believe I've ever seen someone miss the point as completely as you did.
Please don't, because that is certainly not the reason. It's the fact that there's a whole bunch of creeps and we really don't know who to trust. We just learn to distrust everyone on the street.
You distrust everyone. Everyone. Even the women? No, clearly what you mean to say is you distrust all of the men you meet randomly on the street. Clearly that's what you mean to say. And that's not healthy. No, it's not. Mistrusting one half of the human race because of the actions of pickup artists and quote-unquote creeps, it's not healthy. And I'll tell you what it is. It's defining the group by a minority of its members. That's what you're doing. You are taking a small sample and you are using it to paint the rest of the group in broad strokes. The very thing you told us not to do about feminism. You told us not to judge feminism by the extremists and radicals within it. And here you are, demonizing all men by the actions of a select few. And this is worse. And I'll tell you why. Because feminism is at least an ideology. People can choose to not be feminists. I don't get to choose to not be male. No one gets to choose whether they're male or female. That is selected by biology before we are even born. All right? So maybe it's gotten through your head that this is not a thing you should be doing. You should not be distrusting one half of the human race just because of their genitals. If for no other reason than because of sheer practical purposes. If you're afraid of 50% of all humans everywhere, you're not going to get a damn thing done. You're not going to be able to leave your fucking house.
Second of all, going back to this article, guys, it's not that we don't want to get married, it's that we don't want to get married at 17 like our grandmothers did.
Okay, apparently you're not getting this. This is MGTOW. That's men going their own way. They've sworn off relationships, and specifically marriage. They don't want to marry you at 17. They don't want to marry you at 70. They're not going to marry you. I don't understand what is so hard about this for you to get. They've sworn it off. They don't want to get married. End of story.
My grandmother got married at 17. She had her first kid at 17, aka my dad. And when I think about who I was at 17, I was totally not ready to even be in a committed relationship.
That would be because you are a privileged member of the leisure class, and you're not expected to grow up until about age 36? Yeah, I'm gonna go with 36. Also, I do take some issue with your comment of women not wanting to get married at 17 the way your grandmothers did. I come from a town where most of my female classmates were pregnant at age 14 and were happily so. My hometown also has a strong tradition of everyone gets married right out of high school. I, however, bucked this trend, but that's beside the point. The town itself was a poor rural community in the middle of the deep south. Not quite full Georgia, but I believe you take my meaning. So it seems to me that the age a woman gets married doesn't really have to do with what generation she's a member of, but has more to do with her social standing and cultural background. You come from a tradition of extreme leisure, which promotes the idea of marrying later in life. I, however, come from a tradition of extreme poverty, which promotes the idea of marrying now, beginning a career, and starting a family as soon as possible. Oh, look at that. Classism. Hey, fun.
I really do think that you need time to grow as a person before you can be in a relationship. I mean, I think about how much I've changed even this year. I finally found myself this year.
You finally found yourself. And just like that, you ruined any credibility with me you may have ever had. Finding yourself is the sort of thing rich, privileged people get to say when they realize they finally have to grow up and start acting like adults. You don't find yourself in this life, you make yourself. And as pretentious as that sounds, as it also happens to be true.
I know what I want now, I know what I like, and I think those are qualities that only help you when you're in a relationship. So I think that's important for guys and girls to do. Just take some time to be by yourself, to be single, and get to know what you like and what you want with life.
Taken out of context, this statement, this rant, for lack of a better word, seems to sound as though you are in fact encouraging MGTOW. You are encouraging people, and men specifically, to go out and live their life, discover new hobbies, do things they find enjoyable, and generally live life for themselves. However, this runs counter to the entire point of the video previous. Everything you have said before this runs counter to the idea of men going off and doing their own thing. So really what you are saying is that you expect them to go off and do their own thing and then expect them to come back. That is not what MGTOW are about. They are about leaving completely. They don't intend to ever return. So it rather seems that again you have missed the point. And I find it somewhat disingenuous that you are encouraging them to do their own thing, as it were, with the expectation that they will then naturally want to come back to you. Does that not seem a little self-centered to you? It seems self-centered to me.
So no one else sways you to make those decisions.
And yet you yourself are attempting right now to sway the opinion of MGTOW. You're attempting to sway them into doing something that they have sworn off, namely relationships. Seems a bit of a double standard, doesn't it?
Guys, girls today are more independent. We're more career oriented. We like to go on more adventures and travel, and that's not something that should be punished.
I will state this as politely as I can, considering the extreme rage that statement just filled me with. MGTOW are not punishing you. You have not factored into their decision. You, your personality, your likes, your preferences, everything that you are is not a concern to their decision. They have decided for themselves that the institution of marriage is not for them. This isn't about you. And I am trying very hard to be charitable to you because you are trying to make this entire decision, this lifestyle of these men whom you do not know. You are attempting to make it all about yourself when it is not. I am trying very hard to be charitable and not simply write you off as a self-centered narcissist. Please help me in this regard. Okay, yeah, all right, back, feel a lot better. All right, yeah, thanks, thank you for that patience there, guys. Okay, so wow, yeah, all right, Alexandra, um, it is the right of these men to not get married. It is their right to never get married, and it's not about you. It's about what they want, not about what you want. I understand this is the first time in your life someone has ever told you that it's not about you and that you don't get a say in this, but you don't. So, shut up and fuck off.
That's something that should be celebrated, and definitely we should not be called bitches because we're more independent.
You seem determined to miss the point. No one's calling you a bitch because you're acting more independent. People are calling you a bitch because you're acting like a bitch.
And that's why it makes me so mad when girls are being blamed, and especially feminism is being blamed for the fact that guys are isolating themselves, because that is complete bullshit.
Wait. It pisses you off when women are blamed for these things, but it especially pisses you off when feminism is blamed. Oh, folks, we finally come to the core of it. This isn't about marriage. This isn't about women being able to find mates. This isn't about trying to get men from checking out on society. This is about her white knighting for her philosophy. This is about her sticking up and defending to the death against all reason her chosen political talking point. Oh, that's cute, Alexandra. That's real cute. Yeah. Oh man, oh, that's adorable. Go fuck yourself with a rusty razor, bitch.
Guys, if girls are going out and seeking adventures, doesn't that give you more motivation to do the same?
Let me break that previous bit down into two separate points. One, you continually use the incredibly vague word of adventures to describe what these men will be doing without female attention. The incredible vagary and sheer all-encompassingness of that word makes me wonder if you haven't actually given a thought as to what they would do without female attention, which leads me to wonder if you are projecting and that you have not actually considered what you would do without male attention. Because I have a very good idea of what I would do without female attention. I don't think you can say the same. Which leads me to my second point, and that is your continual exhortations to go on adventures. You then caveat with the suggestion that men who do this would be more attractive to women. It seems to be that you are saying that men should go off and have these, quote, adventures in order to make themselves more attractive to you and women like you. First off, that's not why MGTOW are doing it, and second off, that is in fact arguing for traditional gender norms, which your brand of feminism, you have stated, is supposed to be arguing against. This lack of thought about what you would do without male attention, and you're arguing for traditional gender norms and for elevating the status of men in your own eyes, tells me this, that you don't know what you would do without male attention, and that you are desperately craving it. And the idea that there's an entire subset of men out there who frankly don't care what you want or about you at all terrifies you a little inside, and that's why you're trying so hard, you are trying so desperately to shame MGTOW and to stop being MGTOW. That really is what I think the core of your entire argument comes down to. That and your determined white knighting of a political philosophy that you obviously picked simply because it appealed to you and not because you actually knew anything about it.
I know you might be discouraged sometimes. I mean, you definitely should not approach women on the street because 99.99% of the time that will not be effective. I mean, think about it. These women don't know who you are and they don't know if you're the good guy or the bad guy. So approaching girls on the street is not a good idea.
I feel like a medieval peasant being talked down to by some snot-nosed little lordling. Just avert thine eyes, peasant, you're in the presence of nobility, and walk hunched over with your head pointed at the ground. How dare you stand tall like a man on the street? Fuck you. I have every right to walk around on the street wherever I goddamn please. And like hell I was going to approach you, because believe it or not, random people don't walk up and try to randomly hit on other random people on the street. Jesus.
But I just want to say that it's not completely hopeless.
That's right, man. It's not completely hopeless. You just have to bow and scrape for the approval of this shitty little bitch.
I mean, because women are so much more independent and seeking out adventures and stuff, that is exactly how you find a girl that you want to spend time with. I mean, if you go on adventures and you seek out similar things, that's a great place to meet a person that's like freaking awesome.
Let's get one thing perfectly clear. I do not improve myself with the intention of gaining mates. I've got mine, and I'm quite happy with her. I don't improve myself for female approval. I improve myself because I want to improve myself. I go do interesting things because I want to go do interesting things, and I learn new skill sets because I want to learn new skill sets. This isn't for you, and this isn't for your approval. Are we clear?
So, I mean, if you like certain things, if you like certain interests, and if you join clubs, that's a great place to find a girl.
Yes, that's right. Congratulations. You've passed Human Interaction 101. You've successfully learned that you have to meet and interact with people whose interests match yours. Jesus Christ. We know this already. We're all adults on the internet. We know that you have to meet people who you share a common bond with. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, how little do you think of your fellow human beings?
So your situation is not entirely dire, and you definitely shouldn't go into hibernation mode like this article suggests.
You're right. Their situation is not dire. But yours clearly is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying so damn hard to guilt an entire gender into, quote, doing the right thing, which clearly here is just code for whatever I say it is. I think there is a very large part of your brain that is screaming at you, reminding you that you don't actually have that much going for you. I mean, you're rich and pretty, but it seems like you don't actually have much personality, and I don't think you really have all that large a skill set either. So you're desperately trying to artificially inflate the dating pool so that you then have a better chance of finding a mate that you approve of. And your easiest way of doing that is attempting to shame men into joining said dating pool. However, you seem to have neglected one simple thing. They don't want to be part of the dating pool. You can't shame them into doing so, and it is transparent that your sole objective in all of this is to serve yourself.
I'm telling you, I just thought it was so bullshit that I'm gonna link it down below if you want to read it, because I really do want to know what you think about this article, but I just thought it was complete BS, because blaming feminism for this, we definitely should not be blaming feminism. We should be blaming the guys that wrecked it for the other guys in the first place.
Oh yes, that's right. Blame the guys. Because it's totally reasonable to paint an entire gender with the broad strokes drawn from a small minority. That's completely reasonable and not at all sexist and prejudicial. But don't you dare paint all feminists with the perceptions of a small minority. Don't you dare do that, because that's wrong and evil. God, you're Alexandra, your hypocrisy is showing.
All right, so that's all I really wanted to say today. I really am interested to know what your opinions regarding this are, because I have been talking to some guys lately and they are just anti-feminists, feminism, and I would like to know if their opinions have changed at all. You know who I'm talking about. If you're watching this, you know who you are.
Allow me to perform a translation for those of you in the audience who do not speak whiny bitch. Hey guys, does my whiny, hypocritical complaining change your mind about a political ideology that's gender specific and based entirely on propaganda and hate yet? Has it changed your mind? Okay, thanks, bye. Well, thank God that video's over with. She goes on for a bit in the rest of the video, but honestly, I'm not even going to bother linking to it. It's a rambling diatribe of absolutely nothing. Though I will point out that there's a really fun part where she speaks of her own experiences with feminism as though she speaks for all women everywhere, which, once again, Alexandra, if you are listening to this, you do not speak for all women. You were not elected by the Grand High Vulvate. So stop. Stop acting like that. Shut up. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I guess I'll see you around.